Hello and welcome to Mobility Outlook. Today we have two guests. One, Mr. Suresh KV, President and Regional Head of ZF India, and Mr. P Kaniappan, Head of CVS India. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for sparing your valuable time.
Thank you, Murli.
Thank you, Murli.
Yeah. So always lovely to catch up with you. I would like to ask, specifically from the global level, what has happened. I think at the CES that concluded recently, ZF highlighted its progress towards goal of realizing the next generation mobility. So what I would like to know is what kind of contribution and support the India operations hopes to offer in terms of manufacturing, products, and the last one, which is very important, research and development.
Yeah, thanks for this opportunity, Murli. What I would like to say is, as we have been indicating in our global events, ZF is actively working on the various options which are available as far as this e-mobility and the new technologies are concerned. And what is in store for India is I can only say that we are actually looking at how India will utilize the new technologies, and we are seeing that in the recent years there has been quite some progress when we look at the advancements which we are doing on the e-mobility space. What is important for us to understand is that how can we utilize the global capabilities which we have to create a value proposition for the Indian market. As all of us are aware that India is a value-based market, and we need to ensure that the products which we are offering in the Indian market are in line with the expectations with the customers, both in terms of cost as well as in terms of speed. And we are well aware of that, and we are in active discussion with various customers to see how we can create business cases which can help us to introduce the new technologies in the Indian market. Most of the customers are really interested in bringing up these new technologies, thanks to the various initiatives which the government has announced through the PLI scheme, through the Make in India scheme, through the Atmanirbhar Bharat schemes, etc. We are very positive that we will be able to bring in these new technologies into the Indian market, not only through an imports route, but also through a manufacturing and delivery route.
Suresh, what kind of support the India operations can offer to your headquarters?
Murli, if you look at our if you had looked at our 4-point strategy which we talked about, we had very clearly mentioned that we will look at India for creating a manufacturing footprint and also for sourcing a lot of parts from India, thanks to the best cost country which we are. So I would only say that while we are using the Indian market to support our technology, to use our technology requirements, we'll also look at the Indian manufacturing base to be utilized for supporting the global requirements, because that will help us to remain competitive at the global levels.
Okay, I understand. So I think with the commercial vehicle solutions division becoming operational from January 2022, how do you see ZF India's business operations evolve going forward?
Yeah, thank you, Murali. First thing is that today we are in a much better position to offer technologies which otherwise it was not available with, for example, WABCO. WABCO now largely it was in the braking system area, then some work we did in the suspension control, transmission control, etc. But being a part of ZF now, we are in a much better position to offer many technologies, many solutions to customer. KV was saying that or you also were making a mention about the next generation mobility. So ZF would like to play a lead role and help Indian customers in their pursuit of excellence as they move towards the next generation mobility, whether it is electric, whether it is connected or autonomous, in all these areas, we are in a much better and stronger position to help the customers to play that role. So this is at a technological level, and of course, with our traditional strength in manufacturing and the local footprint and the engineering capabilities, we will be able to offer those technologies at a price point the market will accept. Meaning that is where the combined the farmer WABCO and ZF together will be able to offer, because we consider this as a in a way perfect match and the a best blend of high technology at the same time the local capabilities. So that's the way we look at it.
Does this mean that the combined entity will be able to cater to customers' requirements at a much competitive price and at a much faster pace?
Because that used to be the strength of the former WABCO. Flexibility and agility to support the customer at the speed with which they expect those solutions, essentially leveraging the local footprint and capabilities built over so many years. So that obviously, that's the biggest differentiation that we will be able to provide to the customers, all the global technologies.
Okay.
As they chose to launch in India, we are there to help them.
If you can explain to me from India perspective, so how is it going to be? It's not just 1 + 1 2, but something else. So
yeah, maybe I'll give the perspective from the commercial vehicle side. So KV can share his views. See, today the WABCO is known for its the control systems in all technology, all product portfolio. WABCO focused on the control systems. If you take suspension control, ZF has an excellent, elegant air suspension products. WABCO focused on control system for the air suspension, electronic control for air suspension, ECAS.
okay.
So now, when we combine this and when we combine the capabilities of both the groups, you are in a position to offer an intelligent suspension system. Again, using our footprint and capabilities that is now together, which is unmatched, we should be able to offer these highly advanced solutions, which very unique with any other. No, I don't think any other individual company can offer this combined capabilities. So from a customer perspective, they get a very intelligent and elegant, highly engineered solution. Again, from a local footprint. One example, the similar way you can look at AMT. ZF has a great, transmission technology product. It is being made at Pune, and WABCO has the AMT, which is essentially the control system with all the software and intelligence that is required. Now, when you combine it, then you have actually an AMT transmission, again, which comes out of a local footprint and leveraging the full capability of both the companies. Many areas we can say where you can look at the similar thing for any solution. Like today, we had our own ADAS technology, ADAS, autonomous emergency braking systems solutions. But then the WABCO was not having the scale and the scale of those products. We had to source from some other component product suppliers. Today, ZF has those products with a much larger scale because of ZF size and ZF's presence in the passenger car also. So some of these products will be today delivered to the customer at a much competitive price because of the scale and the size which ZF deals globally. So like that in every area, now the combined CVS division will be able to really provide solutions to the customers, suited to whatever approach they would like to take. We are there to help them.
Very interesting. I think from the customer point of view, they have a single point of contact for all kinds of solutions. Very interesting. So the
Will
fusion of
the
Can we,
one-stop solution for all customers. You get, for any systems requirement, they have a one-stop solution at ZF where they can rely, and the accountability of the performance of the system lies with the component manufacturer here. And one more point, Murli, is when it comes to operations. If you look at ZF, we had certain operations. We had in Pune, we have in Coimbatore, but now with WABCO we have Chennai, we have Jamshedpur, we have Lucknow. Today, what happens is, we will have the privilege of providing the solutions from a location which is close to with the customer proximity. And then, WABCO missed the Western Hemisphere, and we missed the Northern Hemisphere, part of the country. So with this, what happens is we are in a current situation. In the current situation, we are in a position to provide solutions when it comes to with minimal logistical costs to the customer location. So that's a great advantage. Similarly, on material side, we can join forces and become really 1 + 1 becomes a much another 2+ solution. That's how it comes to.
Okay, I was about to ask you about that materials. So the fusion of both the companies benefits the OEMs. At the same time, it should also benefit the down the line supply chain. That's that's number one. Number two is again even from the research point of view, there will be a lot of amalgamations, co-working, etc. So how do you see the fusion benefiting the suppliers, your suppliers? So consolidation of suppliers can happen, or probably even, correct me if I'm wrong, the scale will give you economies, the volumes will give you economies of scale also. Is it, are there possibilities?
Definitely. Murli, if you look at our 4-point strategy, we talked about restructuring and reinforcing our capabilities. And if you look at one of the targets which we mentioned was to use India as a sourcing hub for ZF locations. Now, of course, ZF has its own strengths, WABCO had its own strengths, but the combined materials group has a capability to take advantage of a much bigger supplier base, not only in terms of the mechanical components, but also in terms of the electronic components. And today, for a supplier, he or she has an advantage of supplying to a much larger canvas when it comes to the global locations, be it Europe, be it US, anywhere else. So I think from a supplier perspective, also it's a great advantage. Last but not the least, coming to in terms of the quality performance, supplier quality assurance teams, which we have in both the entities, will help us to really handhold suppliers to bring in capabilities into them to become a critical global supplier, the supplier to the global requirement. So I think we can also utilize this as a vehicle to grow the supplier base, both in terms of volume as also in terms of capabilities. That's how I see it. PK, that's fantastic.
Just to add to what KV said, ZF has a vision to take this business to 3 billion, all put together in India, plus 2 billion sourcing from India. Typically, that's a size is being looked at in totality in all sort of businesses put together over a period of probably next 10 years. That size and scale, it is directly going to help the supply chain here. And that scale will further help us to be more competitive in this market. Also to be a source for other markets as well. KV, you can, because you are dealing with overall India, as numbers, and you can probably give your perspective on these numbers. Basically.
Yeah, so we talked about 2 billion growth. So we have been, if you look at in the last 3 years, we have almost tripled the total exports which we have done as child parts exports, only in ZF. And now with the capabilities which we have in WABCO as well, we are very sure that in the next 3 to 4 years, we will have a significant sourcing which we will be working from this country. Last but not the least, you talked about the engineering capabilities. You see, we have a tech center in Hyderabad, which is approximately 2,000 engineers working together. A similar tech center with similar capabilities is available in Chennai for us now with the combined strength. So that really helps us to focus one set of team to focus on light vehicles, one set of team to focus on commercial vehicles. And when it comes to functions, you can see that we have capabilities on focusing on engineering, software development separately. So this gives a real strong we can broad base our sourcing of talent from the region to help ZF grow and ZF grow big time as far as technology is concerned.
For example, when two large entities join together, there could be some duplication. For example, WABCO might have same technology that ZF already has. So, are there elements that you have identified to to avoid the duplication, so that one company can focus on other technologies than it had earlier? Hope my question is clear.
Yeah, your question is clear, but it's both are very complementing. I would say the technologies of ZF and WABCO more complementing. As I said, ZF makes if ZF makes transmission, WABCO makes AMT control system. ZF makes suspension, WABCO makes electronic control for air suspension. In the area of ADAS, both the companies were making. WABCO had its own ADAS strategy, but now we have come out with a common strategy. Using the best of both capabilities. So not much. It's more. I would say it's more of it's a perfect match, and it's a synergetic. It's a synergy we see. Not much of a I would say conflict or in any area. Yeah.
Okay. You have something to say, Suresh?
No, I think I can only second whatever PK said. There are hardly any areas where we are duplicating technologies. It's by and large complementing in nature, fortunately. So we don't have to choose between the technologies in any point of.
Okay. So other than the independent products that each entity was manufacturing, and then combined together, you provide one solution. But when you provide one solution, the customers can also look forward to some other opportunities from the allied industries. Are there do you see opportunities to grab business from the realm that both companies have not been present hitherto?
Yeah, if you take CVS area, while the former WABCO technologies, particularly the braking systems, where we have a high level of maturity and the market share, the opportunities are huge as far as the ZF products are concerned. Whether it is transmission, whether it is clutch, whether it is suspension, whether it is shock absorbers, in all areas, I believe a lot of runway to cross. Meaning we have so much of opportunities, and that is our key focus and priority now. And these technologies, excellent technologies, we need to really find a way to reach out to the customers and offer them at a competitive price, because the challenge today is while the technologies are very excellent, we need to really compete with certain local players in some areas, certain places, the competition. But that's where the former WABCO capabilities will support, because of our strong roots in this country and a strong player driven through TQM, TPM, and Lean type of framework which we actually built over so many years, which we believe will actually help us to really bring those technology to the market, and we will be able to find a significant growth in India market. Again, KV was saying another advantage that now combined entity gives is a national footprint. Wherever commercial vehicles are made, we are there. Chennai, Jamshedpur, Lucknow, Pantnagar, Pune. all places we are present. So also with the strong engineering footprint as well, together we are very well positioned to bring those technologies and drive those products to the customer satisfaction here.
Okay. So
if put as an equation, ZF technology plus local engineering footprint plus the manufacturing capability which WABCO has, thanks to its roots and the customer proximity, I think that's a winning combination.
Yes.
So how do you see this pan out from the content per vehicle point of view?
Yeah. Murali, actually we are in the range of I would say around I would say 500 euros size of the current content per vehicle. Content per vehicle will increase because of multiple ways. Number one, in the braking system itself, there are many technologies that are going to come either through the regulation route or through the efficiency route, fuel efficiency based technologies. For example, electronic stability control is mandated from April 2023 for M3 buses, and we believe it will come. It will be followed to other segment as well, maybe truck segment. And then again, there are a lot of discussions going on with the regulations, stakeholders on the autonomous emergency braking. So, plus if you look at now the RDE and other emission related regulations that will come to India will actually bring many more the former WABCO technologies that actually drive improve efficiency, like tire pressure monitoring systems, even ECAS, electronic control for air suspension. We have the ECAPU. We have a air processing system which is also we can actually control it through electronics, which means again fuel saving. So all the fuel saving technologies also will come. So this is one aspect of increase. If you see, even in our earlier discussions also with you, I must have told that in Europe and other markets, at least 3 times the size of the content is being actually similar market itself, like Brazil and all that, you may see at least 3 times of the size. India also will take that path. Maybe there is a timeline. Again, may not, even if it is not at the exact level of those markets, but there's a very big opportunity available to us. Then the ZF technologies like transmission. Today the penetration is low. As the market moves to 9-speed and thereafter, ZF will be actually having the big differentiation and capability to support the customers as when the power of the engines and the torque requirement that is going to change. We are there to support. That's similarly clutch, for example. Clutch traditionally it was a spring clutch in India. Now diaphragm clutch is coming, and ZF again is the technology is very a very differentiated technology. Customers accept and agree to that, and that actually works with the transmission. Like AMT transmission needs the type of clutch. And then of course we have already got a very good manufacturing facility for transmission in Pune and localized facility in Pune. Plus also we have a shock absorber manufacturing capability there. With that, actually we will be able to really also, today we are exporting the shock absorber. We should be able to really leverage that current scale. With further localization, we should be able to really reach out to the Indian customers and gain more penetration, because the opportunity in trailer segment and other segments are available for shock absorber beyond even the commercial vehicle. Of course, ZF is doing playing a very having high market share in certain products, like the tie rod and those type of products, the chassis components. Again, we see an opportunity to extend, because as the industry evolves to a more high powered and high torque type of high speed requirements,
requirements.
These products and technologies will be much more, it will be differentiating in itself, and then most customers will see the opportunity to induct these products into the system with, as I said, with the local capability, footprint, etc. We will be able to also support them on the cost side, meaning some of these products are technologically superior, but still we will be able to, with the localization, we should be able to really penetrate into the market. So a lot of opportunity available from a content per vehicle perspective. We are working. It's also a matter of how the industry, they moves into or adopts these technologies. We are now seriously working on a AMT transmission. At least, we expect this to slowly pick up from now onwards. If you see China and all that, a few years ago, the penetration of these technologies were virtually nothing. But today, very high adoption of AMT in China. Just few years before, it was in US, it was like that. Okay. So it also depends on the adoption of technologies. We have plans, of course. Our target is in line with what our other regions, maybe China or Europe. Europe, for example, today easily there in the range. There are in the range of probably above 1,500 euro. It's even in the braking system product itself. The other things put together, there's no. I would say the opportunities are huge, but I would say maybe over a period of next few years, we should be in the range of at least 1,000 euro. 1,000 euro, okay. Double, I'm saying.
What are your offerings? Suresh, can you just talk a little bit about ZF India's offerings for the new mobility? It can be EVs or something that you're working on, hydrogen fuel cells, etc. If you can share something.
Not in a position to say that we have concrete plans yet, to be honest with you. But we are, that we are supporting Mahindra in the e-racing, and that is one of the areas where in the Formula E racing. So that is one of the areas where we have proven with an Indian OEM the various, and we have demonstrated the capabilities which ZF has. And these are the things we feel will give a lot of traction for implementing the various technologies which we have. So I can only say, Murli, that there are a lot of discussions happening with customers today in the e-mobility space, both in terms of the new products which are there, as well as in terms of if you look at braking and steering as well. However, if you ask me, do we have concrete plans yet? Not yet, but quite some things are on the table. At least in some of them are in advanced business case preparations, some of them are in preliminary stages. But one thing we can tell you is that ZF will be really proactive as far as the new technologies are concerned, so that we can become a significant player in the market in the years to come with the new technologies coming in.
So, just to add, Murali, in the commercial vehicle, the adoption, EV adoption is largely in the bus segment. First, the segment last 2-3 years is not doing well because of COVID. But from in WABCO days plus now even in ZF together, we are actually in a well-positioned manner and secured quite a bit of penetration, because all these buses need electronic braking system. The normal ABS based braking system is not rightly suited. While it can do the braking system role function, but the electronic braking has the energy recuperation feature to reduce the usage of energy. Yeah. So that as most of these buses are most of these customers we have already got into, meaning secured the business, and the normal air compressor will have to be replaced by electric compressor. Electric compressor. So electric compressor also now we have secured with most customers, and then because there is a need to reduce the energy loss or the the braking has to be very efficient. So the disc brake in some of the buses in the front axle, at least some of the customers have adopted. We have been supplying disc brakes, and there are many other now ZF technology. If you look at it, the e-drive, electric drives, we are actually now working with many customers to, again, here the challenge is you have to supply from a localized footprint, because most of the customers have gone through the FAME 2, the subsidy route. To get that FAME benefit, you have to have a certain percentage of localization. So we are now moving into the localization approach. Plus, we also work with some of the customers to develop a joint co-created solution. In the electric vehicle platform, we are now moving into that space. Also working with certain local suppliers in some components, so that you are able to really develop a local solution, again, meaning global technology, global product, but then you need to really develop these products locally with partnering with local suppliers of, let's say, e-motors and such things. And of course, that's where we are in. And this bus segment is one segment. Of course, scale is less, but plus in some areas in the commercial vehicle, particularly in the intermediate commercial vehicle, LCVs and ICVs type of segment, we see the adoption happening. Even some, of course, small commercial vehicle, the last mile connected type of delivery vehicles will move to electric. Then we see some interest from some of the customers in the area of light and intermediate commercial vehicles. Again, we are trying to offer e-axle, electric axles. Those type of things we are working with the customers, partnering with them. Together, we are trying to develop solutions using the ZF products globally. Of course, some of the customers now in India now also looking at hydrogen fuel-based solutions as systems. So we are also now connecting with them and trying to offer these solutions.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So from the tech center point of view, the Hyderabad and then Chennai center, will that continue to be an independent entity or with an individual head of research center, or is it going to be one?
It's actually, Murli, it's a part of the ZF India location. If you look at the Hyderabad Tech Center, it is part of the ZF India entity. It's a captive engineering center. However, it caters almost 80 to 90% of the work is done for the global locations. The requirement. We do have certain benchmarking studies and local engineering requirements being met with from the tech center. However, we do have a separate application engineering group in all manufacturing locations to adapt these products for the customer requirement. But by and large, the tech center in Hyderabad is an extended location of the global engineering footprint, both for engineering as well as software development. So it will remain, and we have a different head there. We have a person who is heading the tech center, who basically takes care of the operations and also the necessary needs as far as the requirements as far as the tech center is concerned, whether it is expansion, whether it is collaboration with other tech centers, etc. So that remains a different location because it is primarily an extension of our global engineering and software development footprint.
Okay, but for the Chennai one that was under WABCO, will that get amalgamated with the Hyderabad facility?
So actually, the Chennai facility is again legally it's a part of the WABCO India legal entity. So it will continue to be a part of that. Only thing is, for all practical purposes, it's a global network. It's a part of the global network, engineering network. And of course, the team provides support to the domestic requirement, but if you see the software center that is there in Porur, it's 100% supporting global. Which in the Ambattur facility has maybe 50% of the people do work for India, the balance to global. Then the current format will continue, at least immediately. I don't see any immediate need to change, because even though from a structurally they are a part of WABCO India, etc., but it's they are part of our global network, following the global processes, global practices, and everything.
Okay.
KV, you wanted to say something? Yeah.
So the DNA is similar. If you
Yeah.
really look at both the tech center, Hyderabad, it is only in different entities, and that only takes care of the administrative part of it. But from a
Correct.
functional perspective, the working is by and large similar.
Yeah.
Okay. So last question is about how ZF, how do you see ZF, including CVS, contributing to ZF Global's sustainability objectives?
KV, would you like to?
Yeah, so you see, ZF actually has a huge sustainability initiative going worldwide, and we are looking at the various. We are actually being part and parcel of this whole exercise. We are very high on renewable. Every plant of ours is actually looking at the various methodology to ensure that our carbon footprint is kept at the absolute minimum level. But we are very committed to the global targets which ZF has located. Yes, there has to be certain actions to be taken in different locations, and you will see more and more of those coming into India in the next few months. However, as I can say that every location of ours have our own renewable energy utilization. We are looking at minimization of wastages, etc., as a main target of ours, like the way. Globally, if you look at a couple of decades back, how safety became important when the multinationals came in, and we became we had zero tolerance towards unsafe practices. Similarly, we are looking at zero tolerance towards non-sustainable activity. So you will see more and more of that, but definitely we are in a good position as far as energy is concerned, but there are other areas where we need to really adopt the global practices, which you will see in the next couple of years. And WABCO also has their own, which I think PG can explain.
Some perspective on that, Murali. The ZF gives very strong focus on sustainability. That was my. I'm new into ZF for at least 2 years into it. One biggest change that I saw was the commitment of ZF on the sustainability with a clear target, by 2040, net zero commitments, etc. And that in multiple areas we are working. But if for your, of course, KV gave a perspective clearly. To your question, see, in Chennai right now, we have started moving into green power utilization. Of course, we were doing it earlier, some small quantity. We have our own solar plant, etc. But then now we are at 20% of our power. Our power in Chennai, Ambattur, and Mahindra city, we have moved to 20% and trying to increase it to rapidly to probably after 1 or 2 years, we should be at least reaching about 50%. We are working with the target like that. The team is actually coordinating, and the purchasing team is really working with some of the players, and we are also exploring opportunities to really set up our own solar plants in multiple places. That later we would like to really extend this focus to our suppliers also. Like what globally we are now looking at is within our own plant, let us try to use green power as much as possible, reduce energy in the production systems, all that. Of course, even in engineering, we are looking at product design. Also, we are looking at from a sustainability perspective, recyclability perspective, etc. Today, specifically to your question, our green power consumption is about 20% here in the former WABCO sites.
Yeah. Pune should be around 30%. We can, and Coimbatore also has a very good percentage of power being used from the solar cells.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Suresh. Thank you so much, Mr. Kaniappan, for taking time to talk to Mobility Outlook. Thanks a lot for spending your time. Thank you. We
Pleasure,
must
Murli.
meet.
Thank you.
We must meet in person soon.
Yeah, most
Yeah.
welcome. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.